Hello everyone, this is an extra large load of shirts. I got half a scoop of OxyClean, quarter cap of botanical mist scented Unstoppables, and 2 Tide Pods. Spring Meadow. I was like, what was it called again? Oh, and a pair of house shorts, and then my reflective vest for work. Warm water. Soil level is high or max, in other words. That's like a month's worth of shirts in here. I just keep throwing them into the hamper until I have no more. Or I'm down to my last shirt that I wear around the house. I had started this load on heavy duty just to get warm water, because you know you don't get warm water in equal normal. And it had lost about almost 2 inches of water from the top. So when I changed cycles, it filled all the way to the proper amount, which for me is right there, over the top row hole. This is the proper amount for extra large. Got a large load of colors in the dryer. This is how I normally view when I'm not recording. But this light here drains. It uses 3 AAA batteries and it drains them rather quickly. I just got done watching a forgotten Disney movie called The Black Hole. I was going through my stuff and I found the DVD. And I love the robots. Vincent and Bob. Old Bob. They were cool. Even Maximilian was a cool robot. He was the bad guy. One of the bad guys. And I hadn't seen the movie in ages. I think over a decade. And it was interesting. I don't know if it flopped or not when it first came out, but if it did, I wouldn't be surprised. Another movie I found, I haven't watched it yet, in my collection is Flight of the Navigator. Y'all remember that one? That one was good. That one was really good for me. The ship itself, I think Disney was ahead of their time with that ship. That was awesome. Water's dirt. It's gray. Put my vest in there, I zip it up. But in the washer, sometimes it gets unzipped. So, in August, me and my sister decided to go to Disneyland, just on a whim. And we went for one day, my sister, my niece, and myself. And the main reason I wanted to go was to experience Galaxy's Edge. I liked it. I really did like Galaxy's Edge. I piloted the Millennium Falcon twice, both sides, and it's a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. The blue and the green milk, to me the blue milk tasted like an air freshener, and there's some kind of herb in the green milk. But either way, I met Sir James there from GamerFusion.com, and he's the one that said mix them and they're gonna taste good together, and he was right. He was right. He was in his Sith cosplay there, and so he showed me where to get Han Solo's Lucky Dice, because he had just restocked, because they've been out for a while. So I did, yeah, I purchased them. And before the night was over, oh, by the way, sorry, Sir James, if I got you in trouble, but you already said you didn't, so we're okay with that. we're okay that you're okay. Anyways, I forgot that there's a policy that Disney put out that you can come, dressed a certain way to fit the land, but they're not allowed to take pictures, with guests. They don't want guests confusing them for cast members. But people who don't know, they just say, hey, can we take a picture? Or they'll ask questions for directions, which he knows the land by heart now. He goes there a lot. He lives by there. And I asked him if I could take a picture. I completely forgot. And so he was nice enough to agree to it. And then it was D23 weekend. There were two other people that I wanted to meet that I follow, Dano from the Dano channel, and Star Wars IRL. I forgot what the guy's name was, but they were both at D23 convention. But I didn't get to meet them. Anyways, so I bought the lucky dice, and after that, he was looking kind of nervous. I didn't know why. And then I turned around and I see security. I was like, oh, and I was like, oh, I remembered the picture thing. So, but they were fine with it. They saw that I knew who he was. So, they really didn't make a big deal out of it. And as a matter of fact, I think one of the security guards, he said, actually asked him for a business card of his. Which he gave me one too. But anyways, before the night was over, I forgot that it was we were missing my little nephew's birthday dinner. So I was like, what do I take back to him? And then I had purchased the white, yellow, and violet kyber crystals and the lucky dice, Han Solo lucky dice. Sorry. So I gave him for his birthday the violet kyber crystal and the lucky dice. So I have to go back and get more lucky dice to hang on my mirror in my car. But anyways, I love the land, and a lot of people are disappointed that you don't see any of the dead characters or old characters, if you will, from the original trilogy and the past. But that's not why Disney created this particular land, which hadn't until now existed in Star Wars canon. Now it does. The land also came with a new character, Vi Marathi. We didn't get to see her. We didn't get to see Kylo Ren. When we got there was a couple of stormtroopers interrogating people, but we didn't get to see them either. But we did get to see Captain Phasma in Tomorrowland. That was cool. And the gun, the detail on the gun that she carried, wow, that is awesome. But anyways, I do plan to go back. I'm going to Savi's workshop, and I'm going to build my first lightsaber. Hopefully in a few weeks. I'm going to build an elemental nature lightsaber with a green kyber crystal. Of course, green is the color of nature, so it made sense. Same thing with the protection and defense, which is a lot of gold and kind of silver, so it reminds me of Master Mace Windu's lightsaber, so violet for that one. And of course, I want to build... I hope they lift the policy on the scrap metal purchases there by the time I go back, but we'll see. If not, I have to build the whole set of elemental nature, which means it's going to be two separate builds. First build will be with this trip, and then in December when I go back again, there's a friend of mine who wants to build a lightsaber as well, so we're both going to build one together, and I'm going to complete the set for elemental nature. I'm sure that's what Disney wants, because it was cheaper to get the scrap metal, which was $100 less. But it's the experience that you're really paying for. And about Star Wars, I knew the movies. I was not a huge fan, but I was a fan, and I still am. And until Star Wars Galaxy's Edge opened, it raised a lot of questions. I was like, I couldn't see myself paying $200 for a lightsaber. I didn't know what it was about. I didn't know it was an experience. So I said, I'm going to watch, the build on YouTube. And I watched it. And I watched it again. And I got hooked. And there were two names mentioned during the build, which are two Star Wars characters that I was not familiar with, which was Ahsoka Tano and Asajj Ventress. so I got curious. So I started looking up these two characters, and I knew the Star Wars animated series existed, but I paid them no mind when I did have all the Disney channels. You know, I was not a huge fan. You know, I had no idea, and during my search, I realized that there were books also that have been written for ages, for years, and I had no idea those existed either. So I was intrigued, and the more I learned, I was like, wow, there is so much for the Star Wars universe, and I became a bigger fan. So now I've got the audiobook on my Amazon wishlist for the Black Spire Outpost, the one with Vimerati on the cover. Anyways, and so now I'm curious, and then I want to get the two Galaxy's Edge books, which is that one, and then the other one, I think it's titled Galaxy's Edge, and read on, or listen on. It's actually easier for me since I drive for a living, and it's easier for me to listen to a book. I had to do that with Harry Potter, than to actually sit down and read. I hardly have time. Let me close this because it's going to splash all over the place. Anyway. So yeah, so I got my family, my nieces, they said, oh, we're not interested in Star Wars, you know, they didn't want nothing to do with it. But as they were sitting around and I was watching a movie, they kept looking up from their phones, and they're all like, okay, what's going on? This is interesting. Especially my younger niece. She was all like, what's going on? So I was like, she's hooked. Now we got to get the other one. And then she got my other niece into it, so now they're all into it. So they started off watching The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. So they were curious on who was who. So I started them on, so I went back, and with the oldest niece, I started with her first. Because not the oldest niece, the younger niece. And the oldest niece, she started getting interested when I was watching A New Hope. So she's all like, wait, what's going on? She got hooked that way too, you know. She's like, is this what my cousin was telling me? It's like, no. Your cousin was telling me about something else. I was like, but ignore what she said. So here I am trying to catch up with all of them. With all the movies and both of my nieces. My nephew, he's into him. He's all into him. So my sister even got into it, the oldest sister. I'm the oldest in the family, but then there's my one sister who's the oldest sister, then the younger sister. But in between me and the sister is a brother. He still wants nothing to do with Star Wars. And one of his best friends, who I want to build a lightsaber with, he's been into it. Oh my god, he got the AT-AT popcorn bucket, the TIE Fighter popcorn bucket. I didn't even know those existed. I didn't even pay attention, you know. I didn't care about that stuff back then. You know, it was no interest. You know, I had no clue. Basically, I had no clue. And I had no clue about the lightsaber companies that existed either. I found out so much in just researching the Ahsoka Tano and Asajj Ventress. So I gotta wait for Disney Plus to watch them now, because Disney started pulling the Clone Wars and Rebels out of Netflix. So I gotta wait for Disney Plus. I had a chance to become a member early during D23. I didn't know that. I thought it was just you had to be there, but no, it was available online. And I was like, shoot, I missed out on the savings. It was a 3-year subscription, but that's okay. It's Disney. So yeah, I also in the past have been an annual passport holder, but then again they were very affordable back then. So this time around I want to try, because you can always buy a particular annual passport, and you can always upgrade later. Same thing when you purchase park hopper tickets. You can purchase your park hopper tickets and put them towards, if you decide to, towards an annual passport. There's 2 of them that are only available for Southern or California residents. And then you start from there you go on. They put out a new one called the Flex Annual Passport. And that one you have to make reservations for the days that you want to attend the parks. It's only $500. Granted, it's still $500, but it's cheaper than $1,100. It's definitely cheaper than $1,400, which is the Signature Plus. And there is also one that you can only get at the gates of both resorts, Disney World and Disneyland. It's called a Premier Annual Passport. I don't know what the price of that is because it's not listed, but you can upgrade from whatever passport you have to that, and that'll give you access to both resorts. Back to the washer. Okay. I love how the reflective stripes on my vest show on the camera. Okay, I'm not gonna let it do a full spin because I ain't got that kind of time. Well, I do, but I don't. Oh, rinse and spin, second rinse, extra large, yes. Okay, I'm gonna add more Unstoppables. This time I'm going to do about half a cap. And yes, I will extend the rinse once it's full, and once it's overturned a few times, I'll restart it again, because if it loses about an inch of water, it'll refill again. But we shall see. Sometimes it doesn't do it.